Welcome to They Tried to Bury Us. My name is Tamer Kattan. I'll be your host. I'm a comedian, a writer, and an actor. I was born in Egypt and moved to America when I was just a kid, so I'm very proud of being an immigrant. And ever since I started doing comedy, I've met more and more immigrants and I found more and more amazing stories, and that's what this podcast is all about. Each week I'm going to have a new guest. They're going to sit down and share with us their American origin stories, and we're going to get to know each other better, and we're going to find out that we're all just the same. So tune in each week, tell every single person you know, and thanks for listening. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of They Tried to Bury Us. I'm Tamer Kattan, and finally back with me is my co-host,
Ilia Constantine.
Hi Mom.
How are you, Tamer?
I'm good, how are you?
Very good.
I missed you.
I missed you too.
Yeah, it's hard being on the road.
Welcome home. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
It's very nice to see you back home.
It's nice to be back home. It's a bummer being on the road sometimes.
Yeah.
I was gone for a month, living out of a suitcase, having stinky clothes, making friends with homeless people.
Oh my God. Well, 1 week I stayed with you in Boston. It was very nice.
That's right.
You should mark it very well. It was very cozy, very nice.
Yeah, we stayed
place.
in an Airbnb in Boston that was
very
really
nice.
So,
yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, after that, I just became progressively more and more like an animal.
Oh my God. Thank God I was home.
You were home. Exactly. My clothes got a little bit stinkier. My food got weirder. The people I hung out with got weird.
Oh my God.
I started watching a lot of Maury Povich.
Oh, I'm glad you're home.
I'm glad to be home, and I'm glad to have you back on the podcast.
Thank you.
And also, before we get started, I want to read something about some other people that are glad. See how cool that transition was? See how smooth that was?
Yeah.
So I'm going to read to you a really nice review that somebody wrote. And I like reading these because we can't comment back to people on iTunes. So somebody wrote this. Their username is Don't Believe Me, Ask the Dishes. I don't know. I think that's a funny name. I wish I knew the story behind it, but I don't because you can't really communicate with people. But the title of the review is 5 out of 5. And it said, an unreal level of connection with these two. Tamer is the brother I never had. Kity is the mom I wish I had. And the brown female role model I hope to be for young girls. They bring you in and make you feel like family. They share pain and laughter, and there's so much love between the host and their guests every week. I'm happy I found this podcast.
Oh.
Isn't that nice?
I'm glad, yeah. I feel so good and humble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do too.
She close, come visit me. I'm your mama.
Well, now you're going to get weird people coming to your house, Keith. You don't know. She could be a weird person.
Yeah.
She's very nice to this review.
I'm sure she write very nice, so she's good.
She could trap you in a basement and send you baskets full of lotion.
No,
she could be crazy.
I believe all people in different level, awesome, nice.
No, I agree with you. And that was very nice of her to write the review.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for that review. It means a lot. It does mean a lot.
Yeah. You sent me a message about another young woman.
Yeah.
She's very depressed.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to tell her, be strong, and the best part, the strong part in your body, your brain, and, make it out, go for a walk, enjoy life. That's best time in your life. Never get depressed or anything. Fight it back.
Yeah, well, you know, it's tough because, some people can't fight depression. It's a tough thing to go through, but she's a young person going through arthritis. She's a friend in Austin now, a new friend. And thank you so much for your letter. It really, really meant a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, my mom's right. The brain's the most important part.
Yeah.
All right.
Fight it back.
Yeah, and you'll be great. Just keep looking for alternative medicine and
walk, listen to music, be active with something,
There you go. My mom's like the Arabic Dr. Oz.
I'm not doctor. I'm just give advice. I'm too old, so I can't do that.
You're full of wisdom. You're like a Middle Eastern lady Yoda.
You better believe it.
Eat my hummus, you will.
You'll get healthy with it.
You do sound like Yoda. I love it, Mom. Okay, so listen. So this is a very special episode. It's kind of a homecoming after being away for a few weeks. And it's also sort of a homecoming for me and my guest because our next guest, I'm very happy to have on. Welcome, Ilia Constantine.
Wow.
Hello.
Hello, Ilia. And see, this is sort of a welcome back for us too, because we've been in acting classes together, and we talked about some other projects we might do together, which we will do once we figure out our crazy calendars. But Ilia is a fantastic actor. It's been really amazing watching you, in class run sides and different scenes. You just have, for a young guy, you've got so much wisdom, so much knowledge about acting and the arts. And you're so motivated. Like I have I'm really impressed by you.
Thank you.
And so tell me and our audience your story. So you're an immigrant, like all of our guests, obviously. Where did you come from, and what brought you to America?
Well, I came from the motherland.
The motherland.
The motherland.
with the Russian accent, that's so perfect. You sounded like a Bond villain.
I came from the motherland to America. Yeah, I came from a small, not a small town, probably like a medium-sized city. We had 1 million people there, and still have. Right, and the name of the city is Chelyabinsk.
Chelyabinsk?
Yeah, my manager calls it jelly beans.
That's easy.
Is your manager American?
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense. You're from Jelly Beans.
Jelly beans, exactly. So
where in Russia, on the map of Russia?
Yeah.
Where is it?
So if you will see right in the middle of the map of the Russia, there's like a mountains. It's called Ural Mountains. My city is right over there, and it's kind of like far away, very close to Siberia, but not quite Siberia yet.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So you guys is your area have a reputation for like tough?
Yeah.
The toughest people?
Funny enough, yes.
See, that makes sense, because you would be like the lumberjacks of Russia.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. This story is the story because of the World War II. Our city was so far away from the battlefields, right? Yeah. So all the factories that produce ammos and tanks, they basically moved there, and they stayed there after the war. And people continued working because we have a lot of factories. So we have kind of like this legend about people that were super tough.
That's great. Isn't that funny how
rough
cities get this reputation, this mythology around like what the DNA of the people is?
Exactly.
You know?
There's a very famous Russian TV show, kind of like a comedy show, and they were making fun on our city that we're actually tough, but in reality we're really weak.
Oh,
and
interesting.
It was really funny, to Russians at least.
Yeah. So it's a well-known town.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Very famous. Yeah.
So how unusual is it for somebody? How do you say it again?
Chelyabinsk.
Chelyabinsk.
Yeah.
It's so, I love the sk part in the end.
Yeah.
Chelyabinsk.
Chelyabinsk.
It's cool. So when someone from Chelyabinsk says, "I want to be an actor and I want to move to America," how do people respond? The average person. How does the average person respond when you say, "I want to be an actor and move to Hollywood, California"?
Yeah, right.
It's almost like a joke, right? Like
is.
He's kidding. He must be kidding.
People were calling me nuts.
Yeah.
Yep. In high school especially. Like everybody thought I'm crazy, and yeah, right.
So what was it? What made you do something that everybody else thought was crazy, and you said, "Not for me. It's not crazy for me"?
I don't know. I think as a child, I kind of didn't have any boundaries in my mind. My imagination was so wild, and I kind of really believed and still do, that a man can do anything he can if he really wants to. So I kind of set this goal for myself as I was a child. Kind of was pursuing it, working at it, and then there you go. It happened.
And when you were a kid, and you at a young age, you decided, "I want to be an actor."
Yeah.
Was there one thing that made you go, "This is what I want to do"?
Well, yes. It all started with me trying to portray Jim Carrey.
Really?
Yep. He was one of my favorite actors. And I think the reason why I loved him so much, because he would bring me so much joy. I would watch his films, and I would be just delighted. Yeah. And I would try to, be like him. Trying to joke around, be a class clown. Trying to be Ace Ventura. Yeah. And then after a while, people started saying me like, "Oh, you're really like, you look like Jim Carrey. You even act like Jim Carrey."
That's so funny. And I keep picturing a child with a Russian accent doing Jim Carrey.
I mean, it was ridiculous. I think people thought I was like possessed. That's seriously. I think some of the teachers told my mom that I'm like a devil I'm possessed by the devil, and they should take me to like the psychiatry or whatever.
Wow.
To check me out.
Does that sound familiar, Mom?
Yeah.
You know that the same thing happened to
Yeah.
me in school. I would write stories in this creative writing class, and the teacher called my parents in and said, "I'm either going to see his name at the end of a movie or on the front page of a newspaper, and I don't want it to be the newspaper, so I think we should send him to a therapist or give him these pills to calm him down."
Oh my God.
Yeah, and my parents were new to America and going, "What is this place where they just hand kids pills?"
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy.
Wow.
So they thought you were crazy too. Isn't
Yeah.
that interesting? It's funny, like when
Yeah.
kids.
Well, not just that. I also was kind of like stupid in their eyes because my marks were so bad.
Yeah.
I think the only class that I enjoyed was literature and English. That's it. Those are two classes that I had like average mark, like good mark.
Yeah.
Like B, right?
Yeah.
Everything else, what is it? C. What's the lowest mark you can get?
The lowest is an F.
F.
Yeah.
So like I'll get like Fs and the next above.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's weird that it is an F, by the way. It goes A, B, C, D. You should just get an E.
We have numbers.
You
So we
have numbers in
from
Russia?
2 to 5. Yeah.
So
5
that makes
is the
more
best.
sense.
Yeah.
Why did they skip the E?
I don't know.
I think because they're saying "fuck you" to the kid. They're going, you don't even deserve an E. You get an F for "fuck you." That's what they say. I'm sorry, Mom, for saying "fuck you" on the podcast.
It's okay.
Right? We're adults now.
Yeah,
I can say
of
it.
course.
I've heard you say it.
Yeah,
Could
I
you
can
say it for
say
me
it.
just one time?
Fucker. Not fuck you. You're fucker.
Okay, that's great. I love
Look
it.
at Paul.
I gotta tell you, it's amazing that you can have a podcast with your mom.
Yeah, I
It's
love it.
so
I love it's the
awesome.
best.
Drive me crazy,
It's
but I'm
amazing.
okay. I'm crazy because of him, you know?
That's true.
Yeah.
I used to have long hair before I met her. Okay, so now you're in school, you decide you want to do this thing. Not only do people think you're crazy for wanting to do it, teachers are literally saying he might need a therapist.
Yep.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
So from there, I just decided, well, I'm gonna start doing that, and I signed up. So like here in the United States, you can have classes, theater classes or music classes, right in the same building as high school.
Yeah.
We don't have it. High school is high school, unless maybe it's like a special school.
Yeah.
So you would have to go to these other places where you can sign up for different classes, like dancing, and so I did kickboxing at first, and then acting. So and started there
To get your degree in Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Exactly. Well, I was doing kickboxing before I decided to be an actor. So, and then it was like a switch
Yeah.
from martial arts to acting. Once I realized, like, acting, this is what I really want to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
And for people that don't know, it might be unusual for you to want to pursue an acting career in Hollywood to people in that town, but Russia has an amazing reputation for acting. Right? The acting instruction, acting classes, acting methodologies.
Yeah.
There's a lot that comes from Russia that's still.
Athletic.
No, but I mean specifically in the arts, because he came here for acting, and Russia has an exceptional reputation for a lot of performance arts, not just ballet, but acting as well. So although it's unusual, the quality of instruction is probably really great.
Yeah, it was. Like, studying was really, really great at all these different schools, and even I finished 2 years of college studying acting with an amazing teacher. So studying is great. Getting skills is great.
Yeah.
Actually working there as an actor is not great.
I can
Not a lot
imagine.
of opportunities, and not the quality, I would say skills, personal skills of level of different people who involved into making films is much lower.
Sure.
So
And you need that to have people make you stretch so you can reach your potential.
exactly, I always think the reason why films are so great, like in Hollywood and places like Hollywood, is because it's so competitive.
Yeah.
Only best of the best get a chance to work.
Yeah.
So that's why the personal skill of each individual who works at movies is so much higher here than anywhere else.
Yeah, I agree. And I actually think that competitiveness, there's a silver lining to it. Like, a lot of people look at competitiveness and they say, well, that's a bad thing. It's hard. It's going to be harder for me to get a job on the business side of things. But on the art side of things, that competitiveness will make you so good. It'll bring out the best in you. It'll make you get up and write when you don't want to write. It'll make you rehearse harder, be more thoughtful about how you break down a script, all these different things, because the pool you come from is so competitive.
Exactly.
You know, so there's definitely a positive side to it.
Yep.
So that must have been, were you ready to get after? Did you feel like the foundation you had in Russia before you came to America? What was your interpretation of what it would be like here?
I didn't really have any plan. I just saw pictures in my head.
Yeah.
Like I was really visualizing. But I didn't have a plan. I didn't have like a deadline. Oh, by this day I should get famous or this or that. Nothing like that. I just knew this is the place where I need to be. That's all it is. Like a pool.
Interesting.
Like it's crazy pool.
Wow.
Not even in LA. I'm sorry. At first, it was New York. New York really, really captivated me. And I've seen it so many times in different films, you know.
Yeah.
So I came to New York first.
That's interesting. You know how many different people I know who are really great at what they do have given these answers where every other question I ask them, there's a very rational, very logical, almost intellectual response. And then I say, what made you come? And they go, it was this feeling. Or it was a draw. It's almost like the way why a dog would tell you he chases a cat.
Absolutely.
It's just, my body makes me do it.
You follow your heart
Yeah.
also.
There is something to that, you know. There is this pull where sometimes your body tells you to do something, like you're supposed to be doing something.
And I had that pull since I was 15.
Yeah.
15, I realized this is, and not necessarily even United States, but I knew like acting and abroad.
Yeah.
Because at first I really dreamt to go to London, but then it switched to United States, New York, and now it's I'm in LA. So even though like I had an idea where I want to be and where I want to go, still the end result is a little bit different. But I'm so much happy.
Yeah.
Really happy.
Yeah.
With the outcome.
Yeah.
Very important.
So now you're about to leave for America. What's the plan when you start going? This is what I want to do. This is where I'm going to go. What's step one?
Get on a plane. Get on a plane, and that's it. Once I came here, you know, it felt like a dream, honestly. I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just doing it.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I'm in another country. Oh crap, new language. Oh crap, everything is new.
How much English did you know when you got here?
Huh?
How much English did you know when you got here?
The basics.
Really little.
Yeah.
So it was.
Yeah. Well, I took classes.
Yeah.
While I was in high school.
Yeah.
Took some courses for a month before coming in here.
Yeah.
But still, mostly I learned it here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so
it's
scary.
a big difference.
Yeah. It's scary to get to land someplace and all of a sudden be like,
Yep. I remember, I think like 4 months in, I had like, you probably had it when you can't really speak the language yet. And
I remember.
You're trying to communicate with people. You're trying to say something, but you can't. And people react to you like, a little bit like, or like you say something funny and people are like,
or they laugh at you. Yeah. You get tired.
Yeah.
It's fun. Like I remember the first time it happened, I laughed. The second time it happened, I didn't laugh. The third time I got mad and it just kept getting worse. And it eats away at you. And I remember one time when I went to college in Sweden, I learned Swedish. I felt like my Swedish was pretty good. It was the end of a long day. And I went to the supermarket and I just spoke Swedish to the lady at the cashier and she goes, "What did you say?"
Yeah.
But in a way where like she was annoyed that I had an accent. And I just said, "Man, screw you." And I just left all the food and I walked home and I went to bed with a hungry stomach, so angry.
Wow.
And the whole time thought, my parents did this with a kid. You know what I mean? And it made me go, wow. But it's really frustrating to not be able to express yourself. And sometimes even when you do, you're not expressing yourself fully. You know what I mean? You can't because you're not able, it's a second language. And sometimes you're not able to express.
And also when you say something and somebody rude say, "What you say?"
Yeah, I hate that.
I hate that. Or some people say, "Can you repeat this one more time?"
Yeah, that's
I
nice.
like that.
Yeah.
"Can you repeat it? I didn't hear you well."
Yeah.
But when they say what you say, I hate it. I want to slap you on your face. If you open your ear and listen, you will get it. Because if I have accent, you should more careful and listen more.
Yeah.
But some people, they don't have that.
Yeah, because they don't know.
They don't know.
They're not in our
Yeah,
shoes.
but if you're foreigner or you have accent, you listen. You listen and you have patience to understand what they say.
But what you said is right. They don't know because they're not in our shoes, and that's part of the reason why we're doing this podcast is because there's so little representation of what it's like to be an immigrant. Mm-hmm. Anytime they talk about immigrants on the news or on TV or whatever, it's in a negative capacity. It's very rarely like, here's this great new show about an immigrant, right? You know, like that's. I actually have a joke about it. That's why I'm wearing this shirt. The Fresh Prince of Bahrain. Like, that's what the show would be called if we made it for Arabs, or Everybody Loves Ahmed. Or my other one is How I Met Your Mothers.
Yeah.
So I was like, I jokingly said that, but I think part of the problem in America is that they don't really have a complete picture of what immigrants are like.
Yeah.
And even worse than incomplete, the only part that there's focus on is the negative stuff. So that's why I love having people on and hearing these stories and showing what kind of people come to America. The people that come are just like the people that started this country. Yeah. The people that had a dream where everybody else told them they were crazy, and everybody else said, what are you doing? And they had a draw to leave and start a country and go to a place and make it better. Yeah. The same kind of draw Ilia has is the same kind of draw those guys with the white wigs had.
Yeah. He has a plane in his head, and he just want to jump on the plane.
Yeah.
And he's ready for America. Yeah. I can see it.
So, okay. So now you arrive to America, and you're struggling with the language. What's life like?
It's great and scary at the same time.
Sure.
Tough and scary.
Sounds like sex.
But a lot of fun. True. A lot of fun.
Yeah. How old were you at the time?
Like just turned 19.
Oh my God. That is such a big responsibility for a 19-year-old.
And you came alone.
Yep.
Oh,
no parents, by myself.
At 19, I was learning how to drink beer without peeing my pants.
I was learning it here too without
Yeah, I know, it's good.
So you moved to a country all by yourself at 19. Yep. Did you know some people?
Nope.
Nobody?
Nope.
You came by yourself?
Yeah. Well, I came with one friend who came too, but he just wanted to visit. I knew I'm gonna stay.
Yeah.
He was going to leave. So essentially, I came with a friend, but I knew the path I'm gonna take totally alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So when did your friend depart, and what was that first?
3 months after.
3 months after. So that's not very long.
Yeah. We stayed in New York. We lived in New York for a little bit. We worked for this company in New York. Then I had a huge fight with boss because he was withholding some payments from us. And we were like these 19-year-old kids, students, you know.
Yeah.
He probably thought you can get away with it. I tried to explain it to him with my broken English. Either he couldn't, somehow we got into this little argument. So I said, fuck you, Gary, fuck you.
Yeah, good.
I just walked out.
Yeah.
Just walked out.
Well, people take advantage of immigrants too, and they go, hey, they don't speak English that well, and I'll give them a job. I won't pay them fairly.
Yeah.
And then I'll even, I can't tell you the number of people that have had stories like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's
not
crazy.
fair. Yeah.
So that's kind of a tough start.
Yeah.
I mean, a job is kind of like the first time as an immigrant you exhale. You're like, oh, at least I have a job.
Yeah.
And now, and then you just lose it.
Yep.
And
I lost the job. Well, thankfully I had some money saved up.
Yeah.
The worst part in New York happened is when, this is actually a true story. It's crazy that it happened.
Okay.
Me, my friend, and another couple, we decided to rent an apartment. We find an apartment, we move in, and the landlord was a little bit like weird. He told us to go through the back room. He explained it because like only one person's supposed to live in the apartment, not 4, but I'll try to give you guys a break. But essentially he was bullshitting us.
Yeah.
2 weeks, we're living in an apartment, and we paid full rent and a deposit. So it's like around $3,000.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Something like that in Queens. So, and I wake up one morning, and I see water is floating everywhere
Oh, wow.
in the apartment. Yep, water. And I get up, and then next thing I see is my friend Igor and the other guy running around like crazy apartment trying to figure out something, and I'm like, what's going on? And then as soon as I ask, the next thing I see is poop floating through the apartment.
Oh my
wow.
God.
Oh my God, that's gross. Oh my God, gross.
What happened?
So, well, they broke the toilet. Somehow it got clogged, and the water is like shooting.
And it
through.
won't
Ooh.
stop.
It
Oh
won't
my
stop. We can't
God.
stop. We can't find the switch.
Oh
So my friend runs downstairs, goes to the concierge or whatever, the person who sits in front at
Yeah,
the
the
Yeah.
front
front desk,
desk.
yeah.
He shuts the water down, and we
Ah.
sit like in the pool of water in the apartment. And
Oh
then
my God.
this guy comes back, the front desk guy. And,
Water was shit also.
yeah,
Yeah, okay, good.
exactly. And he says, "What are you guys doing here?" And we're like, "What do you mean we're living here? Like, you can't live here. The building is closed for
Oh my
reconstruction.
God.
Nobody's supposed to be here."
No way.
They rip you off.
He said, "Get the hell out of here. It's illegal.
Yeah.
Whoever
Wow.
let you in broke the law."
Wow.
Wow.
We had to pack all our wet stuff.
Oh.
We're trying to contact the landlord. He doesn't answer the phone.
Oh, he got the money.
Never seen him again.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Wow.
So we like end up basically on the street for like 2 days, sleeping at the metro
No way.
on the train. Yep,
Wow.
Yeah.
So you guys were homeless?
for just 2 days.
It
Just
made you
for
homeless
two-
for 2 days in New York?
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Horrible. They
That
take your
sucks.
money like that, and you know you are a foreigner. You're
There's
just
people
in
that are
union.
predators.
Oh.
They take advantage.
advantage.
Yeah.
Yep. Totally.
Wow.
Yeah. But anyways, so and then we kind of like all split, all our group, little group that we were supposed to move in and live together. We all split in, and went to this house to live with some random students.
Yeah.
Because this guy who met me in New York asked his friend, and basically they made me a favor and let me sleep on one of the beds.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
It's
very
funny because the silver lining of the people that take advantage of immigrants is that immigrants tend to find each other and
And
help
help
each other.
each other.
Exactly.
You know, because we're all
Yeah.
being taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then we go, okay, cool. We
Sad.
can find a roommate situation.
Yeah.
We, you know,
Yeah.
So he rented the bed to me dirt cheap, like I think $300 or something like
in
that.
New York, that's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
yeah. I still was like living in the room this size with like 10 people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
But it was fine. Everybody were cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So at least better than
On the street.
the train.
Sure.
Better than the train.
Heck yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So was that your toughest time, would you say?
No.
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 Oh. You
Not
said that
even.
with confidence.
Not even.
Okay, so let's hear what was the toughest time when you were in the States?
Okay, if we count this first time that I was in the street for 2 days as being homeless,
Yeah.
that means the toughest was my third time being homeless.
Mm.
I was living in the car, and then I was kind of like camping around LA area,
Mm.
and it was for about 2.5 months, I think.
What led to the situation where you became homeless?
We got kicked out of our apartment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was beautiful place that we lived. Me and my best friend Ralph lived there.
Uh-huh.
My-
Oh, I met Ralph.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
He's in
yeah.
our acting class as
yeah,
well.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
And my friend Forrest and another girl, Anna. So 4 of us, we lived in this place in North Hollywood, Satsuma Street.
Yeah. It's funny because North Hollywood feels more Hollywood to me than the actual Hollywood.
Uh-huh.
That's
Yeah.
where all the actors live. A lot of comics, musicians, all the real artists live in North Hollywood now.
It was home for me
Yeah.
for like 4 years.
Wow.
So stayed at the same apartment with the same people pretty much for entire like 4 years.
Wow.
We became like really close friends. And then just like everything, we had like a little community. It fell apart, not because some kind of fights, but it's just a thing. You have to move on with life.
Sure.
Yeah, so we all moved on, and I wasn't able to find a place to stay. So, and at that time, I also knew my wife is coming to the United States in 3 months. So I kind of thought I'll suck it up for 3 months. Stay
How
on the
long were
street,
you guys
save money.
separated? How long were you guys?
So you married before you come to America?
No, we got married here,
Oh.
but we knew each other since
Oh, as a
16.
girlfriend. Okay.
Okay.
Since 16, we knew each other.
Yeah.
5 years, I think we've been trying to get her over here.
Wow.
Wow, yeah.
So
Like
you guys
around 5
knew each other
years.
since you were 16.
Yeah,
And then what age were you when you got married?
last year.
Just last year.
25.
25.
Mhm.
So wow, so 9 years you've known each other,
Yeah.
been in relationships.
Yeah.
But then when you first came to
Not
America,
really in a relationship.
oh, okay,
We
but
were just friends, and then at some point it grew into relationship.
you guys got married here though.
Yeah.
So when she came to LA, did she meet? Did she come to LA because she knew you were here?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay, God, that
Yeah.
makes sense. Okay.
We met each other. We were traveling
Yeah.
together. We went to Greece, Germany,
Oh wow,
Italy.
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's when you travel together. I mean, you can
Yeah.
really tell.
Yeah.
You know, that's a bonding.
Yeah.
A very okay. So now you've got an acting husband and wife super couple, right?
Yeah.
But she's on her way here. But you have a few months where you could be like, if I don't pay rent, I have even more money. I could live out of this car.
Yeah.
You know, and because that's a very gentlemanly thing to do.
The problem is I didn't have money.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
That's the problem.
Wow.
I was completely broke. That's why I couldn't find an apartment.
But you weren't going to give up and say, no, let's
No.
go back home.
No,
No,
of course not.
Yeah.
No, of course
No,
not.
no.
You're like, I'm going to make it anyway.
That's why I went in the streets, found like 2 jobs, and I was working. And then one of my friends, 3 months in, I was like at the point where I cannot do this anymore.
Yeah.
It's crushing. It's soul crushing. I can't sleep on the ground anymore. And at that moment, when I kind of made a decision in my mind that I need to move in, plus Sveta is coming like in less than a month, I need to find a place.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, my friend reaches to me and says, I have this little tiny room, almost like a guest house, but it needs to be like
Renovated?
and fixed a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's like out
Amazing.
of like a university, ask and you shall receive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been
And
through
the
this
timing is amazing.
all the time. And
Yeah.
not just one, it happened with me so many times. When you
Yeah.
really ask for something, it comes to you.
Yeah. So would you say when you ask for something, is it the universe or is it a God or is it something?
I say universe,
Yeah.
but I also trying to step away from trying to put a description on it,
Sure.
like a word or a label.
Yeah.
It just is.
Yeah.
Something is. I don't know what it is, but it definitely is there.
Now tell me if I'm wrong. This is going to sound weird. I feel like some people find religion or spirituality, but other people, it feels like the spirituality finds them. Where almost like things happen to them so many times that then they go, no, this means something. Is that the case?
Yeah, it happened with me.
Yeah.
It found me through my mother, because my mom, at some point, she decided to go into psychology and psychiatry. And even though I am not a big fan of psychiatry or psychology, she brought me into the kind of like spiritual knowledge that you can take on and study from different cultures, all kind of every single religion and culture talks about the same thing, just in different language
100%.
I
agree.
and
agree.
different
Yeah.
labels.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
at the core, it's the same thing. So through her, that knowledge and that thing found me, and I was just studying and reading books of all kinds of mystical experiences of people,
Yeah.
all kinds of religion. And then you start connecting the dots, and then you experiment.
Yeah.
You're like, I watched Secret, and about the positive thinking and stuff. So, and then you experiment with that, and then you find like, oh, it's actually working. I don't know how,
Yeah.
but it does work.
Yeah.
And I am the living proof because I've done it to myself so many times.
Yeah.
It's documented in my head,
Yeah.
so I know it must work somehow. How? I don't know.
Yeah. But that's awesome, man. I love hearing that. Especially because this came out as you were talking about your toughest period.
Yeah.
So isn't that interesting? Like at the time where things are toughest, where things are at the worst, is when you had the most magic happen, right?
My second time when I was homeless was one of the most productive years of my life, because I quit all of my jobs and dedicated only to acting and studying filmmaking. I read countless numbers of scripts. I watched so many movies on my phone, because like you're in your car, you got nothing else to do. Might as well you put in the work.
Yeah.
In these conditions, I would spend hours in libraries because I got no place to go. Well, library is a good place to hang out. What do you do at libraries? You study, you read books.
Yeah.
So even though I was homeless throughout that period, I learned so much.
See, that's so inspiring to me, dude. I think I get so tired of people saying we're number one instead of showing what it means, what it takes to be number one.
Yeah.
It's like it means that you sacrifice everything for the thing that you love, and you treat every spare moment as an opportunity to get better. I don't care what kind of an accent that person has. That's the most American thing, as far as what I've been told what America's supposed to stand for. That's the most American thing I can think of. That, not somebody saying, "Oh, I'm American because I was born in Milwaukee," but somebody who actually goes out there and works their ass off. You know, that's really impressive. Just one of the first things I noticed about you, by the way, in acting class, is that for such a young guy, you had such a deep knowledge of acting, plays, films. Like, I was like, God, this guy, you seem like
he read a lot.
Yeah, like, and has like a love for it, because he knows it with like the wisdom that normally much older actors would be. He dispenses the kind of wisdom that a much older guy would be saying in an acting workshop.
You flatter me.
No, well, maybe a little bit. But it's true. I mean that.
You want to tell where I slept when I was homeless?
Yes, please.
You got to hear this out.
Okay.
So, okay, you got to hear me out. Help me out with the name. We have Warner Brothers in Burbank, the studio, right?
We were just there the other night. Yeah,
just across from this, what is this? It's not Runyon. It's, what do you call it?
Oh, Topanga Canyon?
Shopping center?
Is that, no, across from it is the hiking area.
Right
across from it.
The hiking
Forest Lawn. Griffith Park.
Griffith Park, yeah.
So, if you go on this street, Forest Lawn Drive, on the left side is going to be Warner Brothers. On the right side, there's a fence that protects the
cemeteries.
No, not before you hit the cemetery.
Before the cemetery. Okay, the park,
So there's this little gate, and the gate was open one time, and I got through the gate, and I see as like a very steep hill goes up, and out of nowhere I decided to climb. That was the time when I lived in the car, and I climbed up, and then I see a little bush. I was like, oh, what is this bush? And I go through this bush, and there's this little area, like I can't, like almost like a platform, and on the edge of the mountain. And from this point, you can see the Warner Brothers and the whole Burbank.
Wow.
And so I was like, holy shit, that is so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I sat there and I was kind of like meditating, looking at the studio.
Yeah.
And as I was about to leave, I see the way I came in, like kind of like on the right through the bush. And on the left side over here, there is a little, again, bush, but the bush has like almost like a hole. Like a protecting,
like an arch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was like, what if I put a tent in here and I'll sleep in here? So the next day, because it was still a little bit like hilly, you know, you can't really like sleep. You would roll down. I brought some rocks all the way on top of the hill. I found a door. I made it flat.
It's like caveman IKEA.
On top of that, I put in my tent on top of that door.
No way.
And you dream.
I brought my blankets there, everything, the whole setup.
Yeah.
I bought a little stove to cook food there.
Wow.
So every night I would sit, watch it, Warner Brothers Studios.
And you dream.
And fall asleep with the sound and action and cut.
You could hear that?
All throughout the night.
No way.
Not just one time, many, many times.
No way.
That's your dream.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so crazy.
So it wasn't all bad being a homeless, you know.
Of course, yeah.
Definitely.
Well, dude, you know what's funny is, what's that old Bob Marley line? He goes, none but emancipate yourself from anti-slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds.
True.
Right? And here you are in this bed, but when your eyes are open, your mind is free.
Yep.
And even in supposedly living outdoors is, as homelessness is supposed to be the worst thing, but your view was of your dream.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And in it almost like a mantra, they were repeating action cut, action cut, action cut.
Yeah.
Like that has to be in a scene. You know what I mean? You got to put that in a scene somewhere. If you make that has to. That's so beautiful. Also, I mean, what did we say in the beginning of this podcast? That what are your people known for in the part of Russia your people come from? freaking Russian lumberjacks. This lumberjack ends up at the top of a hill with a tent overlooking.
But listen, what's good about him, he's homeless with vision. He's not just homeless.
And also great hair, remember? You said what's good about him was his hair.
Great brain, his vision. He's after he's what he wants.
Yeah.
And that's what make him going. I'm homeless, but I'm great.
It's so important, like that people, how important it for people to realize it is to chase the things that make you happy. It's the things that makes you happy, the things that bring you joy. That's the real currency. Money doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
All of that stuff, at the end of the day, it's just paper that they convinced us is worth a bunch of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's your joy.
Yeah.
That's real freedom.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter if you make $1 million a year if you're just doing stuff you don't want to do all day long. It crushes your soul. That's why really rich people kill themselves.
Yep.
And a lot of times poor people don't.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Miserable. If you're miserable, you're not happy. Money doesn't do any good.
You gotta find the things that bring you happiness. You know, like even what Ilia said about like even finding your version of spirituality is you tried on these different things.
Yeah.
You read different things. You understood from different cultures and different places, and then put a combination together of things that fit you.
Exactly.
Just like being a DJ.
Whatever works for you.
Whatever works for you. And I think that sometimes when it comes to religion or spirituality, sometimes we just take what we're given instead of like living our lives and experimenting and trying different things. I think if I was a doctor and America was my client, I'd say the one thing America needs more of is get out of Americanness. Like, leave the country, visit other places, meet people that aren't American. It'll make you love America even more.
Yeah. So you learn about,
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
So homeless is nothing wrong because he focused in his dream.
Yeah.
And it's very important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, man, I'm impressed.
How long you been in America?
6 years.
Wow, that's
6.
great.
It's impressive.
Oh, 7. I think it's 7th already. Yeah.
That's the hardest year, and then you're gonna be okay.
No, I think actually that's it.
You're okay.
Yeah. The hardest part is really behind.
You find your way.
You know what's interesting too is you go through this. What a perfect time for Sveta to meet you.
My God, I am so grateful.
Right?
For the time there were, I'm telling you, people who are complaining about whatever things you're complaining, we all can complain, but I'm telling you, this is the best time you can live on this planet.
Oh, I agree.
The best.
I agree. I have a friend who's a social psychologist, and he used to say, you know, don't let politics trick you into thinking that you measure the progress of humanity in 4-year blocks. That's not true. You measure the progress of politics in 4-year blocks. But as far as human progress goes, we've been consistent. You measure the progress of humanity in 100-year blocks. And over the last 100 years, we've been consistently going in a positive direction. Consistently. It's not 4-year blocks. You know what I mean? We're making life better for everyone. That's a fact. But also it makes me think, a lot of times when an immigrant wife comes to connect with her immigrant husband, which is something my mom went through, and so many immigrants that have been on this podcast, there's a story where dad came first, mom came second, or husband came first, wife came second. And a lot of times, when the wife ended up coming, the man was tired. He was exhausted. His light was dim. And it was almost like the woman just lands in America, and it was her job to lift him back up. We're going to do this together. But it felt like at your toughest time is when you got your battery filled up the most. And what a perfect time for Sveta to come here and then to meet you when you must have been almost more inspired than any other time.
She will lift him up 100%.
She was there too, even though my toughest challenge I met alone, even though, but it's all not quite alone. I also had my mom.
Oh, good.
And her words.
I had my dad. I had Sveta.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying about technology in the best time. You live in the best time because when else you can just pick up your phone, press a button, and you can talk to your mother on the other side of the planet.
That's true.
You can't do it.
You can see her face.
You can see your face.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's so true.
And she can give you love word to comfort.
Exactly.
When I was a kid, because my dad was here for so long, my mom would trace my hand in letters so he could see how much I was growing.
With no phone,
Because
nothing.
he couldn't see. We didn't have Skype or
exactly.
FaceTime or anything
Yeah.
like that. So when he was away from us for over a year, I was a different kid.
Yeah.
He looked different. We all looked different.
Actually, year and a half for
Year and a half,
kids,
yeah.
it changed a lot. But I believe not all immigrant great. I have to tell you, some wife they get you down, but most the immigrant wife they lift you up so good.
She's amazing. She's
Yeah,
amazing.
as a team.
She's also
as
an
a team.
amazing actor.
Yeah.
She's a really
that's
brilliant
great.
actor.
So
yeah.
she understand him, and
Yeah.
you know. So as a team, you're gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
You will.
Yeah.
And I think you're blessed too, because you say you don't want to say God or religion or anything in your word. You say it's a university or whatever.
Universe. Yeah.
Universe. But I think you're blessed. I think somebody watching over you.
I totally 100% agree
Yeah.
with you. Because
yes.
and maybe it's just dumb luck. I
Yeah.
don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I've been lucky throughout my whole life, starting from the amazing parents and family that I got.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
To even this point, like the way my life unfolds in front of me. I don't want to brag, but I really sometimes feel like I'm overly lucky.
Yeah.
But that's good, because that
It
doesn't.
is
That's
good.
not overly lucky. It means you're the right amount of grateful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hopefully.
For you to feel overly lucky means that you're the right amount of grateful, and that's good. That means the
Yeah.
luck's not being wasted on you.
Yeah.
You know. So that's the perfect segue into what's been your happiest time since you've been here.
Happiest.
Happiest, yeah.
Definitely the time at Satsuma. I call it Satsuma. It's the street in North Hollywood.
Yeah.
Satsuma Avenue.
Yeah.
That's where we lived. God damn. That was oh my God. The
Really?
times that we had, me, Forrest, Ralph, the three of us, we called each other the Satsuma boys.
Oh.
That's the world's wimpiest gang.
Oh my God. The amount of adventures we had.
Really?
So many. Yeah. Ralph came in a little bit later because.
Well, Ralph still lives with you guys now.
Yeah, but a different place.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, at first it was me and Forrest. And Forrest was the very first person I got connected here in the United States. He's American.
Yeah.
And he is the reason why I learned English so quickly and picked it up so
That's
easy.
great.
Very good. Yeah.
Yeah, he just helped me so much, not trying to actively help me, but by becoming my friend.
Sure.
And becoming my roommate.
Yeah.
I wouldn't speak Russian. We would speak English all the time.
Yeah.
And Forrest is like, if you imagine the most hippie person ever, this is Forrest. But he wouldn't call himself hippie.
Yeah.
But he looks like a hippie, and he acts like a hippie. Very happy person and very adventurous.
That's
Good
cool.
For him. Yeah, cool.
So we hitchhiked, we traveled, we went to Mexico, we train hopped. Crazy.
What a perfect muse for an actor.
Yeah.
Right? Like
yeah.
he's like, what an ideal type of person for a creative person to hang around with.
I really think I had two childhoods.
Yeah.
One childhood is in Russia, and the second childhood is when I was living in Satsuma. Because again, I end up being by myself. I am making my own money. I am like, there's no dad or mom to ask if I can go out or not. If I want, I can go for a week and nobody's going to tell me anything.
Sure.
You know, just don't forget to text your parents every once in a while. I'm alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
But rather than that, you were totally free. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
At like 20, 21 years old, basically.
And you know what's funny is we have that freedom as adults, and we just take it for granted.
Yeah, you forget about it.
We
that,
totally
oh my
take it
God,
for granted. It's like living at the beach for too long and not going to the beach. And it's like, you still live here.
Yeah.
You can smell the freedom. It's in the air. You could still do it, you know?
Yep.
So that's great, man. Like, and so that was obviously before Sveta arrived.
Yeah.
And now you guys are together now, both pursuing acting.
Yeah.
How is everything going for you in Hollywood?
It's amazing.
Good answer. I love it.
I do have a slight restructure in my mind. I'm getting more involved with producing films and being on the other side of the camera because I really fall in love with the whole creation process.
Yeah.
Acting is only one part of the movie, but I fell in love with the whole process of making films.
Yeah.
And I've been getting so fascinating lately. There's just, again, a new natural pull that I have that I want to go and do this. So right now I'm really investing my time into studying and doing producing.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm making a movie actually.
Bravo.
Yeah,
Well, I can't wait to hear about it. It's funny that you said this about acting because I agree with you. And filmmaking in general, like it makes me think of, like, was there any other time in history where people knew that this thing that they were creating lasts longer than they do, right? And I thought of like the guys in Egypt that carved the hieroglyphics. Like when they were carving the hieroglyphics, did they know that people who drove electric cars, you know, and ate like, you know, raw fish in sushi restaurants would be walking in the pyramids and seeing the art that they created?
Yeah.
Like I don't know if they knew, but I know we do. We do. We know that the stuff that we create, the stories that we tell, the feelings that we try to show people we felt or that we want them to feel, all that stuff, if you create it on a certain platform, it lasts forever.
Yeah.
And that's like the silver lining of all of us having to die.
You can leave something behind.
We can leave something behind.
Yeah.
And it is, especially when it's like, to me, it makes me happy that you're the kind of person that's pursuing that process, because it makes me happy to feel like the person who is carving on that wall is someone who went through the tough times and is still positive, you know, and is still grateful and is full of joy. There's so many artists that are like such miserable pricks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they were my heroes. I saw this quote one time. It said, all my heroes had drinking problems. And that's what happened when I first got into the arts. All the guys I respected the most were miserable bastards. And it's like, I don't think you have to be miserable to be a great artist anymore. You know? And it's good. I love seeing a younger generation of artists too come up, and they're brilliant, they're smart, they don't have to play the stereotype of this terrible cliche that makes it hard. I'm tired of hearing about young creative people dying young.
Yeah.
And I think it's because you can't live miserable for that long. It's like
But
holding your breath
also,
too long.
if you're miserable, the miserable take away all the joy.
It takes away your creativity.
You don't see it.
Yeah, I agree.
You don't see it.
Yeah,
So
I
you have
agree.
to be free from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the knowledge that you need to be happy is out there. We're living in a time when you can access this knowledge at any time.
Yeah.
At first, you're going to grab only conceptual knowledge of what it is. But once you start practicing some certain techniques and you realize that your happiness does not depend on the external things, but only on the internal, what's going on inside you. Once you realize it and start working on yourself, then you'll find peace and happiness.
100%, I agree.
And
with
whatever
you.
you want, actually.
There's actually this quote that's a tribal quote from a tribe in Africa, and the quote, and I say it to myself all the time, and it's that knowledge is only a rumor until it lives in the muscle. And there's something about like, I'm like, oh yeah, that's the repetition of art, the repetition of acting, of comedy, of music. It's you can't really, it's not in you until it's out of your brain. Once it's in your body, then that's really when it becomes art. So I agree with you 100%. And dude, you've been an awesome guest. I want to have Sveta on one day too.
100%.
Now, is there anything you want to promote, like acting wise, or for anybody to follow you on social media or anything like that?
Yeah, Ilia Constantine. You can find me on Instagram. Also, I just started my own YouTube channel too. Because, as I said, this whole part of creating something and then sharing with people, I'm really fascinated about it. And why not use the best platform that is out there, which 100%, is YouTube?
100%
Share
agree.
your own work.
Yeah,
that's what I'm gonna do. And I just started. I'm gonna drop my first video this upcoming week.
Right on. Well, I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
And then we'll post it if you want. We'll post a link to it.
Oh, cool.
When we promote the episode.
Thank you. Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
And are you going to be in summer session in the acting workshop?
All right. I'm producing this film.
Oh, right
on. It takes
on.
my time. Yeah.
Right on. Do you want to plug anything about the film, or is it too early?
I can't really talk about it yet.
Okay. No worries. All right. Well, we'll have you back when you're ready to promote the film, and then we'll talk during the summer break too. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for listening to another episode of They Tried to Bury Us. Keith, do you have anything you want to say?
No, I just wish him good luck, and he will. And I'm sure your wife, she lifts you up, and everything gonna be great.
Yeah.
And
if this was a horse race, and this was the part of the horse race where all the horses walked around, I would point to Ilia and be like $500 on that one.
Oh, I do.
He's
same
gonna make
thing.
it. Yeah, he's gonna make it.
Thank you.
And
guys.
for the wife, I don't meet her, but I can see.
You'd love her. She's great.
She will lift you up.
She's awesome.
Because when you say her name, I can see the big smile.
Yeah.
You know, and all that. So good luck. And listen, I'm not religion. I'm not religion, but I feel 100% you blessed.
Thank you.
Yeah,
she's a super spiritual person.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And guys, if you're looking for live comedy, you can follow me at tamerkattan.com and at Tamer Kat on Instagram, at Tamer Kattan on Twitter. We also have new merch. For those of you that have been to comedy shows and have heard me complaining about there not being enough positive representation of Middle Eastern people, I have a Fresh Prince of Bahrain t-shirt that's on my website under merch. And please keep telling your friends, reviewing the site, giving us 5 stars, and keep listening. We love you guys. Thanks so much. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.